My name's Bill Ratner. I live in Canoga Park. I didn't grow up in Canoga Park. I grew up in Beverly Hills. We came here in 1979 after I graduated from my MBA program back east and worked for a local company here.
My name is Ed Barkett. I live in Canoga Park since 2000, and I'm representing the Canoga-Owensmouth Historical Society.
Well, here, let me start. I think you're sitting in it. This is our museum that Ed and I, as president and vice president, work in. And we always marvel at the reception we get when people see the map here, or our 1947 RCA TV, which the screen size is the same now as my iPad. They always get a kick out of that. We have history here out of basically people's closets and attics and giveaways. We celebrate what Canoga Park is, and it wasn't always Canoga Park. Before it was Canoga Park, it was Owensmouth. Before it was Owensmouth, this was tribal territory with the Indian tribes that roamed through here 1,000 or plus years ago.
I have pride of living in Canoga Park because it's a beautiful community here in the West Valley. As I always say, the West is the best, and get here, we'll do the rest. And I'm a historian. I have a degree in history from Cal State Northridge, and I find it truly interesting and amazing the rich cultural heritage that is here in Owensmouth, Canoga Park over the decades, and the variety of people that lived here, and the very well-known, even famous people lived here. And I take pride in the local schools, Canoga Park High School, and the middle schools, the elementary schools. Lots of fine graduates, and a thriving, vibrant community here in Canoga Park. So I enjoy living in Canoga Park. And Bill basically said everything about the pride in the community.
In going back just for a second, besides raising wheat with the combine pictures that you see here, with the migrant community that harvested the wheat, you raised wheat here. We also built engines to the moon lander in 1969, and we celebrated that too with Rocketdyne. So from raising wheat to raising men to the moon, it's been a community of diversity, regardless of whether you're building buildings for the future like Rocketdyne did, or simply providing rail transportation for the food that we used to deliver via the old depot that was on Canoga and Roscoe, which is now the Salvation Army headquarters. That's the place where people would load up the trucks to send the produce to the Central Market in downtown LA. Well, this grew up from the Women's Club. They had a very small museum and it got to be too big. And so this building at one time was a fire station. That's why this building is in the shape that it's in, and the room is in the shape that it's in. And that was changed in 1978. It was first started with buildings, was built in 1931, staffed as a fire department in 33. The engines got too big for this space, and so they had to literally put another fire station together. So 72 moved over to DeSoto and Van Owen. The problem then is in 1983, a group got together to spend a little over $100,000 and renovated this to a museum / community center. Some of the historic preservation that was done, maybe by accident or maybe by design, is that we still use the old fireman's lockers in the kitchenette that we have. This is the same key, the same lock as if you'd find in another station, as if you would go to Station 27, which is the fire department's historical site. So given all of that, we are a very diverse but very progressive community.
Canoga Park is moving forward on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. We have a fantastic economy here, a thriving community of people and families, and we have very, very supportive politicians at the council, district, the state assembly, state senate level, and we're moving onward in the 21st century, and we anticipate each new year, each new month, and we invite people to come to the original downtown part of Owensmouth Canoga Park here between Roscoe, Van Owen, between Topanga and Canoga Avenue, and that's where it's happening. The Tosco Theater, the Madrid Theater, here on Owensmouth, where we have the farmers market and we have our historic fire station housing the community center and the Canoga-Owensmouth Historical Society Museum, among other fantastic places. The Los Angeles River starts behind Canoga Park High School, and there's lots of historic places here for the young people to see, and for those young people that are being born and raised in Canoga Park, take pride in Canoga Park. It's a fantastic place to grow up and to raise children.
There are several festivals here that is actually a landmark for the community, as well as the West San Fernando Valley. The Day of the Dead celebration in November draws 30,000 people a year. We have just brought back the Canoga Park Memorial Day Parade, draws a similar crowd between Topanga Canyon Boulevard all the way down to Mason, basically. And that mile and a tenth is crammed with people wanting to see the parade that starts with a big banner carried by the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts troops. So it's amazing to see the younger generation get involved with some of these activities, as well as the older generation, I include myself, that want to shepherd that learning and that sense of tradition and pride as we go forward. But that's something you have to work at every day. It's not just a festival. It's not just the museum open once or twice a month. It's actually keeping the place up and clean like it belongs there. We do bribe people to come in. Ed goes out and pulls them in, and then we have them sign up, and for the benefit of that, we have a Tootsie Pop or a Tootsie Roll. So we tried to make it interesting. You can't see it, but the item behind you is an old Motorola that you actually have to wind up, and we have Al Jolson records that we could play you. So I mean, it's a fun place. It's not a static place. Well, here, let me just start with a note of history. In 2005, we were declared in a very competitive environment, national-wide, that we are America's city. We had a group that some of them are still here that were part of our winning that award. And not very many other communities here in Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles city or county, even come close to that. So it's a source of pride. So you have the Hunter Pride with the Canoga Park High School. You also have community pride by the vendors, the community people itself, the people like us that are in the historical evaluation process or custodianship. We are custodians here. We don't own it, but we kind of make sure that it doesn't disappear. So my sense of worth or pride in Canoga Park is our growing sense of community. And it's upon us to teach it to another generation so it ripples, it keeps on going.
Well said, Bill, well said. I consider Canoga Park to be family, because this is where my family has lived since the year 2000. My three sons have grown up here. They went to the local high schools. My wife and I, we enjoy going to different places on the weekend. We go to Orchid Ranch, which is a city park, which at one time was owned by the well-known orchids of the city of Los Angeles. We go to Shadow Ranch Park on Van Owen at Fallbrook, which at one time was owned by the screenwriter who contributed to The Wizard of Oz movie. And it's a place to live. Lots of family, friends, made lots of good friends over the years, and like meeting the new generation of neighbors that have been moving into the neighborhood and meeting at church or at the local organizations that my wife and I belong to. So Bill's older than me, I'm pretty old, but now we have a new generation of like young couples in their 20s and 30s coming in, having kids, and now I see in my neighborhood like little kids riding their bicycles and the happy voices of little kids playing in the neighborhood. So that's what Canoga Park means. Family, friends, and neighbors. Good neighbors, yeah.
Bill Ratner, Canoga Park.
My name is Edward Barkett. I live here in Canoga Park.
Send your inquiries to Bill Ratner, BILLRATNER, at hotmail.com, and I'll be happy to email you our newsletter and some of our links to our Facebook page, and you can explore the rest of what we do together.